In the last episode, Rob escapes the void after being forgotten and trapped there for some time. However, things have not gotten any better for him, as he returns to a world where he still feels like he doesn't belong. The next time we see him is in the episode The Nobody. In this episode, he is discovered living inside the Wattersons' house, completely unnoticed because they are too oblivious to realize he's there. Gumball and Darwin eventually interact with him and begin asking questions, only to find out that Rob cannot remember anything about himself, explaining that he is simply a nobody. Trying to help him find some sort of purpose in life, Gumball and Darwin suggest that maybe he should become a villain. At first, it seems like a joke, but something about that idea sticks with him. Suddenly, fragments of his memory begin to return. He recalls the events from The Void, where he desperately tried to get Gumball and Darwin's attention but was completely ignored. He remembers clinging to the back of the van as they escaped, managing to leave the Void himself, but emerging disfigured and out of place in the real world. Now fully aware of what happened to him, Rob realizes why he feels like nothing, and in that moment, he makes a decision. He will become their nemesis.
I will destroy everything you care about. I will take away everyone you love. I will be your nemesis.
Rob appears again in the Season 4 episode, The Nemesis, where he repeatedly tries to defeat Gumball and Darwin, setting up traps and elaborate plans, but fails every single time. No matter what he does, things never go the way he expects. Frustrated and defeated, he nearly gives up on being a villain entirely. However, near the end of the episode, Gumball and Darwin intentionally walk into one of his traps, giving him a small but meaningful win. For the first time, Rob feels like he's actually succeeded. That one moment changes everything. It reignites his motivation and pushes him to take things even further. But this would soon turn out to be a mistake. In the Season 4 finale, The Disaster, Rob encounters a mysterious man in a red van who offers him a universal remote. The man warns him about its power and asks what he intends to use it for. When Rob responds with vengeance, the man immediately tells him he cannot use it for evil. Ignoring the warning, Rob snatches the remote and presses the power button, followed by the arrow keys, causing the van to glitch uncontrollably before crashing. In that moment, Rob realizes something important. This isn't just a normal remote, it has the power to control reality itself. And now, for the first time, Rob finally has what he needs to take his revenge to the next level.
You turned me into the villain Gumball Watterson. You left me with this broken body. You gave me this ridiculous voice. Well, now, I am in control. And the time has come for you to pay.
Up until this point, Rob had failed at everything. But that was about to change. After seizing control of the universal remote, he swears vengeance on Gumball. Moments later, the Wattersons are driving around, looking for a parking space and singing together. Rob sees this as the perfect opportunity to test his new power. Hiding behind a nearby car, he waits as the family approaches. He pauses time, then starts all the nearby cars. He steps out and confronts Gumball, threatening to harm him and his loved ones, then unpauses. Instantly, the cars surge forward, crashing into the Wattersons' vehicle. Nicole angrily blames Gumball for playing with the window, even as he tries to explain that it wasn't his fault. Frustrated, the family walks away, leaving Gumball confused. Later, at the store, Gumball and Darwin are looking for games when Rob appears again, this time with a new plan. He decides to destroy Gumball's relationship with Darwin. Using the remote, he turns on subtitles for Gumball, forcing him to say hurtful things. The insults escalate, and Darwin, hurt and angry, storms off in tears. Gumball returns to his family, breaking down as he tries to explain what's happening. Nicole reassures him, promising they'll find Darwin. Meanwhile, Rob disables the parental filter on Nicole and Richard. Without their usual restraint, they begin arguing.
Honey, I know it's difficult because it's so prominent, but could you please forget your stomach for a minute?
It's your nagging voice. I wish I could forget.
Well, I wish I could forget you forgetting our anniversary.
It quickly escalates until Richard suggests a compromise. He'll get a donut while Nicole finds a better husband. Furious, Nicole storms off. Realizing his mistake, Richard chases after her. Gumball runs after them, trying to keep everyone together. But Rob interferes again. He lowers the brightness of reality itself, causing Gumball to lose track of Aeneas, separating him from his family. Things only get worse. Gumball accidentally kisses Sarah in front of Penny, ruining their relationship. As Penny runs off, Gumball chases after her. But Rob fast-forwards time, launching Gumball forward and sending Penny falling off the top floor of the mall. Then, everything stops. Rob pauses time, leaving only himself and Gumball able to move. Gumball finally confronts him, furious, yelling at Rob for destroying his life. In response, Rob opens the void behind Gumball, intending to push him in. But Gumball fights back. In the struggle, Rob briefly loses control of the remote, but quickly regains it, sending Gumball to the edge of the void. Just as he's about to finish him off, the remote dies. Instead of continuing, Rob throws it into the void, knowing Gumball will have no choice but to follow if he wants to fix everything.
That's pretty high. Maybe
Falling through the abyss, Gumball manages to catch the remote and fix it by putting the battery back in place. Without hesitation, he presses rewind. Reality begins reversing, sending him back through every moment of the episode. And with that, the episode, and Season 4 of the Amazing World of Gumball, ends with a simple message: to be continued. Last episode, Gumball rewinds all the events that occurred that day, sending everything back to before it began. At the start of Part 2, titled The Rerun, Gumball begins having flashbacks to the previous events, Rob ruining his life with the remote, only for the car to crash again because he gets distracted while remembering. Later, at Laser Video, Gumball tells Darwin that he can predict the future, proving it by guessing which game Darwin will pick from the discount bin. Right on cue, Rob appears and activates the subtitles again. But this time, Gumball reacts instantly, changing the words and successfully warning Darwin about what's happening. When Rob presses the eject button on Darwin, Gumball pushes him out of the way, causing the attack to hit Banana Joe instead. Rob, frustrated, threatens to ruin Gumball's life again before fleeing. Gumball chases after him and attacks before Rob can use the remote on Richard and Nicole, but accidentally hits rewind on them, turning them into children. Rob uses the distraction to grab the remote and escape. However, with their parents turned into kids, reality begins to unravel. Gumball, Darwin, and Anais rush to stop Rob, but the effects quickly catch up to them. One by one, they begin to fade, until only Gumball remains. Rob taunts him, and in frustration, Gumball charges forward, but accidentally knocks Penny off the top floor instead. Rob, believing he's won, pauses time and begins to monologue.
Just get on with your stupid monologue.
Wait up, this requires the right mood. You have only yourself.
You know what, save it. I've heard it all before. Poor little me, blah blah blah, you never wanted to be the villain, yada yada, I made you this way, etc etc.
I was looking forward to telling you all that.
Angered, Rob opens the void and attacks, but Gumball effortlessly blocks every move. After a brief struggle, Gumball manages to take the remote and eject Rob into the void. For a moment, Gumball celebrates, until he realizes what he's done. He actually feels bad. Without hesitation, Gumball jumps into the void to save him. Inside, he finds Rob, who refuses help, believing he belongs there among the universe's mistakes. Rob runs, forcing Gumball to chase him deeper into the void. As they move, Gumball's body begins to break apart, his limbs shrinking and disappearing. Using the remote, he manages to keep going, but eventually even his fingers vanish, leaving him unable to use it. With no other option, he throws the remote to Rob. Rob considers pressing power, but instead chooses rewind. Both of them are sent back, returning to the mall before they ever fell into the void. In that moment, Rob begins to understand something. Maybe Gumball isn't the bad guy after all. After all, he jumped in to save him. When Gumball asks how they're going to fix everything, Rob says he'll go back and do it himself, even if it means they won't be friends. He rewinds one last time, returning to the van before everything began, and destroys the remote. But this isn't the last we see of Rob. In the Season 3 episode, The Oracle, we learn that Banana Joe's mom, Banana Barbara, can paint the future. We know this because she has several paintings of recent events, even though they had been sitting in her garage for years. In one of these paintings, Gumball is shown at the mall with no clothes on. By the end of the episode, everything shown in the paintings ends up happening exactly as depicted. This ability becomes far more important later on. In the Season 6 episode, The Future, the episode opens at night inside the Banana's house. Banana Barbara finishes a new painting and hangs it alongside her previous works. As she looks at it, she notices something unsettling, a dark figure standing behind her. When she turns around, she finds Rob, who immediately kidnaps her. A week later, Banana Joe is seen putting up missing posters for his mom. Gumball and Darwin decide to help him find her. Joe mentions that she used to be normal until her boss eventually pushed her to the point of losing her sanity.
Doctor said it's called a burnout. It happens when you get too stressed at work.
To track her down, the boys decide they need to think like her, leading them to act intentionally stupid in an attempt to retrace her steps. Meanwhile, at a warehouse in the junkyard, Rob is forcing Banana Barbara to paint the future. However, instead of clear answers, she only produces multiple out-of-context images involving Gumball, Darwin, and Banana Joe. While Rob isn't paying attention, Banana Barbara secretly begins altering the paintings, embedding clues within them to lead the boys to her location. But because the trio is still acting foolishly, they either misunderstand or completely ignore the clues she leaves behind. Realizing this isn't working, Barbara comes up with one final plan. She paints a hole, one that will transport the boys directly to her. As Rob turns back around, he notices that Barbara is changing the paintings and begins to suspect that she might actually be able to alter the future itself. But before he can figure it out, Gumball, Darwin, and Banana Joe fall through the painted hole and land inside the warehouse. Rob quickly reacts, using Banana Barbara's powers to manipulate reality and fight back. In the chaos, Darwin and Banana Joe are knocked unconscious, leaving Gumball to face Rob alone. As Gumball gets closer to Barbara's canvas, Rob reveals that his reason for kidnapping her goes far beyond just targeting Gumball. Eventually, Darwin and Joe recover and manage to knock Rob down. The three of them rush to the canvas and begin erasing him, brushing over his image repeatedly until he is removed from existence.
No, you don't get it. You're gonna get it. Wait, please, no.
Banana Joe and his mother are finally reunited, relieved that it's over. But Gumball and Darwin feel conflicted. Despite everything, they don't think Rob deserves that fate. So they ask Banana Barbara to paint him back. She agrees. But when Rob returns, he is placed inside a painting of the void. And with that, everything begins to lead into the final arc of the Amazing World of Gumball.